Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Today's DAF is KIDDUSHIN DAF Samachay. Welcome back. We're holding out the Mishnah, which is 10 lines off the top of the Amud. Says the Mishnah, Ha'imar li Isha. A fellow approaches an Isha with the following claim. Kiddushtich. You remember I was Mekadosh you? You're my wife. She says, never happened. What is the halacha? Who asur b'kroi v'yiseh? So the halacha is that one may not marry relatives of his wife. So, because of his admission, because of his claim that, in fact, this Isha, Rachel, is his wife, he may not approach her relatives. But, here's a paradox. He can't marry them. But this Isha, Rachel, has nothing preventing her from marrying his relatives. She doesn't consider herself as his wife. She's denying the whole claim. So it's a one-way isser. With respect to his halacha, he has to consider her as a married woman to himself. In which case he can't marry her relatives. But with respect to her status, she can just ignore the whole thing. And she can just go on and marry anybody she wishes, including this fellow's relatives. The same in the reverse. She claims, you were Mekadesh me, he denies the whole thing. So now the onus is on her. He can marry any relative he wants. Because as far as he's concerned, this never happened. But she cannot marry his relatives. As though she was married to him. Next case. Kiddushtich. He claims to the Isha, look, I was Mekadesh you. And she responds, the KIDDUSHIN did take place, but it was one difference, one mistake you're making. It wasn't me, it was my daughter. What happens now? Who asur b'kroves gdoila? Since he claimed to have married the mother, he has to treat her as a married woman with respect to himself. He must keep away from her relatives. But she's not bound by this claim. Ugadoila mutaris b'krovav, and the adult, the mother, can approach any one of his relatives because, as far as she's concerned, this never happened. With respect to the daughter, it's like this: no effect, nothing happened. Hu mutar b'krovis ktana, uktana mutaris b'krovav. He can marry the krovis of the youngster, and likewise, the ktana has no limitations. Because although the mother claimed that there was KIDDUSHIN that took place between this man and her daughter, a mother has no ne'emanis, which is limited to only a father, as we learned in the other sugya. And the same, the other way around. Kiddashti es biteich. He approaches Rachel. I was Mekadosh your daughter Leah. And she says, no, it was me actually. It wasn't my daughter. What happens now? So basically it's the same, concepts and principles all over again, just a different, application. Who also b'kroves ktana. So since he conceded to KIDDUSHIN with the ktana, he has to treat her as his wife and he can't marry her relatives. Uktana mutaras b'krovav, but the ktana is not bound by this claim. She can marry anybody she wants. Who mutar b'kroves gdoila? He can marry relatives of the mother because he never claimed to have been mekadesh her. U'gdoila asura b'krovav, but the mother cannot interact with his relatives because she conceded KIDDUSHIN with him. Says the Gemara, why does the Mishnah in the beginning give us, pretty much two of the same cases, going in, opposite directions? In the first case, he was the one who made the claim. In the second case, she made the claim. Either way, the one who's claiming has to, live with his claim, but the other one could just ignore it. So why two variations of the same halacha? When he claimed or when she claimed. But there's a chiddush, there's a point to each case. Had we only mentioned his side of the story, the case where he claimed, and he has to live up to his claim, I would say, Mishum de Garvala Ichbas Leo Mikri V'Amar. You know why only he is bound by his claim, but she can just ignore it? Because, a man can sometimes just speak. He doesn't really care much to claim Kiddushin on an Isha. Because after all, he's not limited. He can marry as many as he wants. So but he doesn't care much. Umikrivi Amar, it could have happened that he said something, even though it wasn't really serious and real. And therefore, she is not bound by his claim. We don't accept it as fact. But if she's the one initiating the claim, Aval Ihi, maybe a woman is more guarded in this respect because she's sort of tying herself down when she admits to Kiddushin with a man and she's bound to him, right? Aval Ihi Ema, there perhaps we would say, Ilav de Kimla B'dibur, if not for her claim being real and accurate, Lo Yahavas Amra, she would never have proposed this. V'litzar Ihu B'kriveseh, and therefore perhaps he has to go along with it as well. We accept it as fact. We put it on the records. Kamash 1 comes to the Mishnah and says no. The fellow that claims, be it him or be it her, must live up to their claims. But the other party is not committed. In the next case, we have Kiddushtich, V'yameres. I was Mekadosh you. She says, no, it was my daughter. Hosulamali, what's the point of repeating this whole thing again? It's pretty much, running along the same lines. Istrich, there is a point specific to this case. To tell you that a mother is not to be believed when she claims to have known about her daughter's Kiddushin. She doesn't have Ne'emanas. Perhaps I would say, I know that Minat Torah, only a father is believed. Pasuk says this, father can testify about his daughter's Kiddushin, not the mother. But perhaps, the Rabbanon added another layer to this halacha, and included the mother as well. Not just father is believed, even mother, midrabanon. And therefore, midrabanon, we should say, v'titzar barta b'dibura, the daughter should now have to live up to her mother's words and comply and be aser. Kamash b'lon, the point is no. Kiddashti es b'teich. This time he claims Kiddushin on the daughter, and the mother responds, no, it was me. Hasulam li, why this additional variation and application? What's the point? I did the Tanah. Okay, it's just a sort of, for symmetry purpose. We discuss one side, we bring out the other side as well, but pretty much it's just another variation of the same idea. Continues the Gemara. Itma, we have learned a machlekes between Rav, who says, Rav Amar Koifen, we force him to give a get. In a minute we'll see, what exactly this is going on. Ushmol Amar Mavakshin. No, we ask him nicely. Now, Ahaya, on which case of the Mishnah are we speaking? Ilim Arish, is it on the first case? Where he says to the Isha, I was Mekadosh you, and she denies it flatly. Well, in that case, she's totally mutter. She's totally a free bird. She doesn't need his favor. She doesn't need his get. Lav kaifanika, v'leimavakshanika, who needs to force, who needs to ask. Ella Sefer, rather it's going on the next case, where she initiated this whole claim. She started the story. I was Mekadosh to you, she says, and he denies it. So now she's aser, due to her admission, right? And Rashi says, by the way, it's based on the idea of shavya alei chaticha d'isur. A person can consider himself aser, even without Adam. The Isra is by personal admission. So she's Asr because of her admission. And in order to unhinge, she needs a get. Rab says we force him. Shmuel says we ask him. Asks the Gemara, 1 second, why would we force him? He's totally denying the whole story. Bishlei memavakshin. I understand, Shmuel's shita. We ask him nicely, l'chaya, that's understood. He doesn't have to, but we ask him. Be a nice fellow, give her a get. Allah kaifin amai, but why would Rav say we force him? He doesn't want to give her a get. You know what happens when you give a get? Then you can't marry the supposed divorcee's relative. He doesn't want to be bound by that. Amai. Right. Amar, right. Amar lenichali. He can just say, look, I'm not interested. It's a b'kreveseh to become usher in her relatives. How can he force him to give a get? Elo shmaita dadi itma. Rather, we have to relearn this machlekes. There wasn't really a dispute between Rav and Shmuel. They were sort of complementing each other. As follows: Amar Shmuel mavakshin mimenu l'tenget. Where she had claimed Kiddushin and he denied it, we ask this fellow, be a nice fellow, give her a get. So that's Shmuel. And on that, Rav added, he wasn't coming to argue, to disagree with Shmuel. Of course you don't force him, you ask him. But Amar Rav, you should know, if the husband, or this supposed husband, volunteered to give a get without being forced and being asked, that's a sort of an expression of admission. He's being made, so to speak, that she's really his wife. Why else are you giving her a get? So now he has to pay for the ksuva as well, because he's pretty much confirming that there was kiddushin. Koyif and oisel tin ksuva, he has to pay for the ksuva. Itmar nami, we learned as well. Omar Acha bar Ada Amar Rav. Some say Omar Acha bar Ada Omar Rav. Nun Amar Rav. Koyif and mevakshin. We force and we ask. What do you mean? They're incompatible. Tarti? How could he force and ask at the same time? Hachi kami means, like we said before, mevakshin mimenotin get. We ask him to give the get, but v'im nosan meyatzmai, if he just went ahead and gave the get without us asking him to do so, that's a gilu das, that's a revelation. That's an indication, that's a confirmation that there was a kiddushin, and therefore koyf and oisli tin ksuva, he has to pay for the ksuva, and both Rashi and Tosfos point out, it's clear from the Gemara that even an Isha got divorced from Erusin, from just being engaged, deserves the ksuva payout. Continues the Gemara, a brand new sugya. Amar Yehuda, there is a girsa. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. Okay, hamekadesh be'ed echad. If one is mekadesh and ish, gives her a ring in the presence of just one witness, ein choshesh and kedushav, we disregard the whole episode. Invalid. We need to aid them, otherwise it's a non-starter. Bo name Rabbi Yehuda. So the following was asked of Rabbi Yehuda. What about a situation where they both concede, they both maida. Shneim maida mai. Husband and wife are both being maida. Yeah, we did the kiddushin in front of the aid. So what's the question? So Rashi explains. We're trying to discover what Rabbi Yehuda meant that Eid Echad doesn't work. Is it because he doesn't have ne'emanos? We can't trust the words of just one Eid. If you have two, okay, but one is not. But here, they're believing him. The parties themselves are on board. That's one way to look at it. Oidilma, says Rashi, that's a halacha in the Torah. Kiddushin cannot be chal, cannot take effect without Eidim. It is learned by way of the Gzera Shava, davar from Mamoin, al pishnai Eidim yakum davar. It's not just to verify. It's not just to figure out what happened, to ascertain the facts. The point of having the presence of two Eidim at a Kiddushin is more than just to be mevarer. It's to establish, it's to formalize the experience, to make it real. So that's the question. Eid Echad on his own, fine. But what about if they're being maida to him? What's the halach? Does he have ne'emanos to establish this Kiddushin or not? Well, he didn't have a clear answer. In Veloy, yes, no, V'rafib Yada, it wasn't clear to him which way to go. Itmar, Amar Nachman Rashmuel, Hamakadosh ve'edechad ein choshesh l'kedushav. And here comes the punchline. Afiyu shnei moed. Even if both parties agree to the facts that it occurred, it doesn't go on the record. It's not chal. It doesn't take effect. We need two Eidim actually present. Eisvei Rav Rav Nachman. So Rav asks Rav Nachman, how could you say so? Hoymeli Isha. Back to our Mishnah. He claims to the Isha, Kiddushtich, I was mekadosh you, and she denied. V'yamer is like Kiddushtani. What does the Mishnah say? He's bound, she's not. Who also b'kreveseha? He muteres b'krevav. Question. What's he claiming? Was anybody there at the Kiddush? Either you could Eidim. If there were two Eidim present, well, that's a confirmed Kiddushin. No two ways about it. Amay muteres b'krevav, so why is she not bound by it? Why can't she marry his relative? We know that there was a Kiddush. Either like Eidim. Okay, so there were no Eidim there. Amay also b'kreveseha, so why is he bound by this Kiddushin, which is totally invalid? Oh, there must be something in the middle. Ela be'ed echad. There was one Eid present, and he's of course siding with the Eid echad. He's being maida, and therefore he's bound by the Kiddush. So we see that this combined effort, the Eid Echad with the concession of the party, with the Haidah, works. That's a kasha on you, Rav Nachman, who says it doesn't. Answers the Gemara, no. Hachab my skin was speaking, going to Amrla, he's claiming as follows. Kiddushtich b'pnei ploini, ploini, v'ochlem dinu sayam. We didn't do it in private, we did it in front of Thu May. They're not here today, they skipped town. That's what he's claiming. But if he would claim otherwise, it wouldn't work. Ace, here comes another kash. Hamagarish is ishtay. So after he divorced his wife, they stayed together in a hotel. Valon imay b'pundaki, and they were misyached with each other. Beisham yomrim einat tzrichim enu get sheni. We don't need a new get. We don't have to be concerned that perhaps they interacted as married, which is one of the forms of kiddushin, and they sort of remarried, in which case you need a new get. You don't need a new get. That's Beishamai. You do need a new get. Get sheni. Now, what exactly happened? If there were Edom, that there was Bia, in which case the Kiddushin is confirmed, my time I had Beishamai. So why do Beishamai ignore it? If there are no Edom present, my time I had Beisil, so why do Beisil require a new get? There's no Kiddushin. Allah Beidechat, there must be something in the middle. It was one Eid. And as Rashi points out, Ushneim Moed, both parties admit to the Kiddushin. So we see that Haidah together with Eid works. But according to your question, let's move on to the next part of the Mishnah there in Gittin. Amos safe. What does the Mishnah say? Oidim. All agree, even Beis Hillel, bin Esgarshim and Irison. Suppose they were simply engaged, and then this happened. There was a gerushin, and then they stayed together. All agree in this case. There's no concern. You know why? They're not emotionally close. We're not concerned that there was a kiddushin. That's the Mishnah. Now, now if we're speaking that there was one Eid present, and they're agreeing, they're admitting. Who cares whether they were previously married or just engaged? Malim and Erison, whether they were just engaged, Malim and Ersuna, they were actually married. Who cares? Past history is irrelevant. It was a kiddushin with an Eid Echad with Haidah. Ella, so must be that the Mishnah is dealing with a totally different set of circumstances than you thought. Allah, my skin was speaking, going to we have our Edom who witnessed them being together in seclusion, in private. That's all we saw. We didn't see any physical interaction. But like we don't have that. So the question is, do we assume that one step led to the next, which generated Kiddushin? That's the machlekes. So there are certainly Edom about the Yichud. The question is whether Eid Yichud is tantamount to Eid Biyah. No, we don't necessarily say that one phase leads to the next. That the Eid Yichud are halachically considered like Eid Biyah, like Eid Kiddushin, which would necessitate a new get. And Beisil disagree. Beisil Savri, there's a natural progression. I'm reading Eid Yichud, Eid Biyah, Yichud and Biyah synonymous. But that's only if they were previously married. So it's a natural progression. But all agree, they certainly been as Gashim and Eirson, they were simply engaged. They're not emotionally close. We don't necessarily assume there was a natural progression between Yichud and Biyah. Why? They're not emotionally close. So this has nothing to do with our discussion with the Eid Echad. We're talking about two Eidim. It's a totally different question whether Yichud is tantamount to Biyah. Okay, back to our question. Rav Yitzchak bar Shmuel, Amrat Mishmei the Rav, Hamakadesh Beid Echad, Ein Choshish in the Kedusha, V'afilu Shnei Moedim. So he confirms that Shita. There's only one Eid present at the point of Kiddushin. Even if there are Moedah that it took place, it doesn't work. Because you need two Eidim to formalize it. Amar Rabba, Bar Rav Huna. Same story, Hamakadesh Beid Echad. You should know, Beidin Rabba Amri, the great Bezdin said, Ein Choshish in the Kedusha. We disregard the whole thing. Who is this great Bezdin? Mayan Beidin Rabba. That's Rav's Bezdin. Vigad Amri, another version. Amar Rabba Barafuna, Amar Rabba, Hamakadosh Beidechad Beidin Rabba, Amri in Choshen Kedushav. The great Bezdin disqualifies this single witness Kedushin. Man Beidin Rabba. Who is this great Bezdin? The Bezdin of Rabbi HaKadosh. Okay. Ma'osev Rabbi Chad Bar Ami. Here comes a question on this conclusion. We have a Mishnah. Shnaim Shebo Mdina Sayam. Okay, you thought you heard it all. Two people come from out of town, and there's a woman with them. So we have three people, two men and a woman. V'chavila imam, they're carrying some luggage. Okay? Man, a man, woman, and a suitcase. Ze'aimer, listen to this. Ze'aimer, so Reuben claims, Zu ishti, this is my wife. V'ze'avdi, the other fellow here, Shimon, he's my Eved. V'zu chavilasi, this is my luggage. V'ze'aimer, and Shimon responds, 1 second, you got it all wrong. Zu ishti, she's my wife. V'ze'avdi, and you're my slave. V'zu chavilasi, this is my suitcase. Hold it, we're not done. We have a third person to reckon with. V'isha aimeres, what does the Isha say? She claims, what are you people talking about? Elu shnei avodai, these are two of my slaves. I own them. I'm not their wife, they're my slaves. V'chavila shali, and the suitcase belongs to me. So confusion is reigning, and what do? Tzricha shnei gittin. So we need to issue 2 gittin, one from either man to the Isha, just in case, right? V'goyvik savasam and chavila, and she collects her ksuba payment either way. Whether he's the husband or him, she deserves a ksuba from the luggage and the remnant, whatever's left over there, beyond the ksuba payout, sits around until the Yellow Navi comes and tells us what to do. That's the Mishnah. Now, what exactly happened? So if Reuben has Edom that back up his claim, that she's mekudesh to him, and likewise Shimon has the same type of claim with Edom, how could she counter by saying, well, no, they're my avodim. We have Edom. Right? So basically, how could she claim they're her avodim? And also, Rashi points out, we allowed her to collect the ksuba, but the rest is sort of, put in a trust fund, right? They all have a claim on that, leftover fund. But as Rashi points out, if we have Edom for either husband, then, and certainly she can't have any claim on the leftover money. It's certainly not hers. Because if she was married to this fellow, then everything belongs to him. If she was married to this fellow, everything belongs to her. She has a right to collect her ksuba, fine. Because a married woman who's divorced collects her ksuba, but otherwise, past that, she has no claim. And here we seem to say that the leftover, whatever's left over from that money, waits in limbo until the owner of it comes to determine who's the owner. Maybe it's him, maybe it's him, maybe it's her. What do you mean? There are Edom for each husband. Certainly it can't be hers. Ella beidech. Oh. So it must be speaking that there's only one aid. Reuben has an aid that he was Mekadesher. Likewise Shimon, that's the case. So what do we see? That even one aid necessitates a get. That's a kasha on all those shitas who ignore the aid echad. V'tispra, 1 second. Can you suggest that in fact the aid is at play? Aid echad ba'akchasha mimehem. This whole discussion, Rashi pointed this out on Amud Aleph. This whole discussion regarding using an Eid Echad for Kiddushin, that's only because we do find elsewhere that an Eid Echad has some power. Rashi brings, Eid Echad is Mechayev Shvu and Dini Mamris. Right? If one makes a claim, monetary claim against his friend, and he has an Eid Echad to back up his claim, that triggers a Chiyav Shvu on his opponent. An Eid Echad cannot extract money, but you can necessitate a Shvu and have the opponent confirm the facts with an oath. So an Eid Echad has some limited ability to affect litigation. So that would be the reason why we would reckon with him by Kiddushin. There's an Eid Echad, and I'm going along with him, so that gives him some power and emunus. But in this case, says the Gemara, even an Eid Echad is worthless. Eid Echad ba'akchashem imehem. Since when do we believe in an Echad when he's being contradicted and opposed by another Eid Echad? It's one against one. They cancel out. And here both men have their aid. Elo, says the Gemara, you're right. Let's rework the whole story. L'mishri la'alma, l'kuliyam le'pliga deshari, all agree. In this case, since we don't have proper substantiation of these Kiddushins, she can just go marry anybody she wants. She's totally mutter. There's no question about that. You don't even have a proper Eid Echad, right? V'hach, hachi kamar. When the Mishnah speaks about requiring divorces, it doesn't mean to be matir. Of course, she can marry whoever she wants today. She's totally a free bird. She wants money. She wants to collect her ksuba. Then that only works if both men decided to give her a get on their own. They don't have to. But if they decide to give her a get, like we said before, if you volunteer, initiate a get, that's a confirmation of liability, and you have to give her the ksuba. She collects from this luggage. And the point of the Mishnah is, Rabbi Meir, it's Rabbi Meir Shita Da'amar metatli, even just belongings, not real estate, assets. Metatli mishtab l'ksuba, they're bound and committed to the ksuba payout, which is a machlokes, and that's the point of this Mishnah, to bring out that you can collect ksuba from metatli. So what's the conclusion of this whole discussion? A kiddushin conducted in the presence of one aid. Does it work or not? Rav Kana Amar, ein choshen l'kedushav, disregarded. Rav Papa Amar, choshen l'kedushav, we don't disregard. You need a get. Amar lei Rav Ashi, Rav Kana. So Rav Ashi turns to Rav Kahana, who says, disregard it. My daitach, what's your thinking? Why? The alphas, davar mimamin, right? Because you have this gzera shava. Davar from al pishnei edim yakum davar by mamin, and therefore you need to aid them, right? To establish the kiddushin. Well, if that's the case, if you're working with that, comparative premise, let's really equate ourselves to mammon. And we know that by mammon, when you admit, when you concede, you're liable. That's one from our pasuk. If so, then just like by monetary litigations, if you are maida, if one of the litigants are maida to his opponent, we treat it like testimony offered by 100 Adam. We give it the highest level of credibility. You can concede, you can admit, you can offer guilt. Rashi says it's learned from the pasuk. Asher yoymar ki hu zeh. That's by the maida b'miktzas. A Torah allowed him to be maida. Afkan, same thing with the kiddushin. If it's compared to mammon, we should say the same thing. Forget about actual witnesses. If the husband and wife, the man and woman, concede and are maida, there was a kiddushin, that should be sufficient to establish the fact. Amar Lacey says like this. There's a basic difference. I'll tell you why it doesn't work by kiddushin. Hasam, like a chayv lachrini. In Dini Mamnis, when Reuben is maida that he owes Shimon $100, he's not. Who's the only one losing? Only one person, he himself. He's not being mafsid. He's not harming anybody else. So he has the ability, he has the right to do that. When it comes to kiddushin, you're harming other people. Why? Says Rashi. Because by conceding that you're married, what are you doing? You're basically putting all your relatives off limits to this person. That's called chayiv lachrini. You have no ability to do that. Okay, so bottom line, the conclusion is, the consensus seems to work with the idea that by dini mamonis, haida'ah works, but not by kiddushin. By dini mamonis, eidechel works, but not by kiddushin. Even if he is going along with the account of the aid, we need to aid. Mazutra, Rav Ada, Saba, these two brothers, they were the sons of Bnei, of whom? The Rav Mari Bar Yisro. So they had some property, and they divided their property. Polig, Nechsayu, Badi Adadi, they made a split. Okay? But they did it, Badi Adadi, privately amongst themselves without formalizing it in front of witnesses. Also, Klami the Rav Ashi. So they approached Rav Ashi. Amrulay, they had a question. We didn't do it, formally in front of witnesses. Does this arrangement hold true? Al-Pishnei Edim. Amar Achmona. Torah specifies you need to aid him by dinei mamonis. Well, what's the reason? Why? Is the point to prevent dishonesty and backtracking? So that's why we have the edim, to confirm the facts and not allow for confusion. Vanan, we're okay. None of us are backing off. None of us are contesting what happened, so we don't need Eidim. Or perhaps the Sahadi, the Edom, establish and confirm and formalize the procedures. Even monetary procedures requires that formalization. Is that true? Which way is it? Is it just for dishonest people, or is it a required element within any monetary arrangement? In which case, we're lacking that element. Amar Lucy says, no, go with the first route. Like Ibru Sahadi al Shakri. Why were Edom created? What's the point of Edom? To protect from dishonesty. Rashi says, L'shakri ha'koifrim b'dvarim le'melekenu. They come defend against dishonest people. But it's not a necessary element. You don't need it if you don't need it. But that's only by Dinei Mamres. But when it comes to Dinei Nefashos or Kiddushin, we explained before, the Edom there are actually a necessary component for the establishment of the Kiddushin, etc. Amar Abaye, on the topic of 1/8, we have 3 cases, in which case we do reckon with the single witness's input. Why? Because the fellow is conceding to him. Amar loy eid echad achalta chela. 1/8 approaches Reuven and says, you ate forbidden fats. You have to bring a carbon. V'lo shoyisek, and the fellow's tight-lipped. That is considered haidah, an admission of guilt, and therefore, Naaman, the eid is believed, and basically a person has to bring a carbon, and it's called a self-initiated carbon, which is the only reason why you would bring a carbon. V'tana tuna, and our Tana taught us likewise. An aid claims you ate chaylev. And he says, no, I didn't. No carbon there. That's only because he denied the fact. Let's make a diuk. But if he was shaisik, he remained silent in face of this aid's information, the aid would be believed. Here comes another case, similar case. Reuben approaches Shimon, look, your watermelon that was tar became tummy. And the fellow's silence. Naaman, the aid is believed, and we have to treat it as tummy. We have a Mishnah likewise. Aid claims that the thing got tummy. When the fellow denies it, pater, there's a girsa tar, then it's, we ignore the aid echad. That's only because he denied the fact. But if you would be shaisik mehemen, we trust the aid. We accept it as fact. Abaye is the third case. An aid approaches the ox owner. You should know your animal had interacted as married with a man, and in which case it's disqualified from carbon. You should know that. And the owner remains silent. Naaman, that we take the aid's information as fact. We have a Mishnah likewise. This is a list of karbonis, of animals who are disqualified from carbon. An animal with which an avera was done, or an animal who killed a victim in the presence of 1/8. So, an Eid Echad is coming and telling us these mishaps, the Aveira, the Misa, or the owner, the owner himself, informed us about these things. Naaman, so we accept it as fact, and the Behema is now puzzled for carbon. First example, the Eid Echad coming and telling what exactly happened. How did the owner respond to that information? If the owner is agreeing to that, so that's another form of Apiyah Bailam. Why the repetition? Elav the Shasik. Apparently, when the Mishnah speaks about an Eid Echad, informing us, the owner, in that case, remains silent, no input. So you see from here that shtika is deemed concession, kaidah, and the shar becomes pasul. Utzricha, there was a reason why Abaye gave us a full list of all these cases: chaylev with carbon, tuma of the taharais, and the psul of the behema. And Rashi says, he needed to tell us that in all 3 cases we treat the shtika, the silence, as a form of concession. The shtika sahidai. There's a chiddush in each case. The yashmin hakamais. We only discussed the first case of the chaylev and the carbon. There's good reason to believe that when the owner, when the person who ate the chaylev, supposedly, was shaisek to the Eid Echad's presentation, he was really agreeing with him. Ilav the kimli ben avshei, the achal, the avad chum mazar, because Stop. Because if not so, if it wasn't so that he, in fact, is coming to confirm, he's agreeing that he actually ate that chaylev, he wouldn't dare bring a carbon, which isn't really necessary, so it's not a carbon then. It's like chulin, bringing it to the azor, he wouldn't do it. So apparently his shtika to the Eid Echad is really a concession. He understands, he remembers, he ate it, and he's going along with it. But in the second case, where he's sort of, agreeing that his item became tamei, there, perhaps there's room to think that his silence isn't necessarily an expression of admission. To Savar, he's thinking, okay, you know what? The item is suitable to be used when the owner is tamei. I mean, it's not the worst thing. So his thing became tamei. He'll use it when he has the opportunity to use it. So perhaps in that case, silence isn't necessarily admission of guilt or an admission of fact. And that's why Abaye pointed that case out as well. We treat it as haidah. We treat it as fact. If we only discuss this case, Mishum de Kamasle Beitarasa, I would say, well, the owner would never go along with it, because after all, he's experiencing loss, because he can't use this food when he's tar. So over there, shtika is haidah. Aval sheir nearby, when it comes to the animal, Amar, perhaps, he's just, grudgingly going along with that information. He's not really conceding, because he's thinking to himself, you know what, what's the worst thing? Typically, animals are not meant for karbanis. So, okay, I won't use it for a karban, I use it for my personal use. So perhaps over there it's just a grudging, nod or whatever. He's not opposing the Eid Echad because he knows he's not really losing much from it. So perhaps over there it's not considered haidah tzricha. That's why Abaye cites all three cases. And all we say, if you have something to say it. Because if you are shoysek, we treat it as a haidah, we accept the Eid's information as fact. Okay, so in summary, we had a Mishnah with 4 cases. The man claimed kiddushin, he's bound to it, but not she. She claims kiddushin, she's bound, not him. But now she's stuck. She needs a get. We ask him to give a get. If he decides to do it on his own without being asked, then that's a concession, that's a confirmation of the kiddushin, and he has to pay out the ksuba. Then comes the next discussion regarding the power of edus. 2 eidim work all over. What about 1 eid? So in terms of dini mominus, we learned that Eid Echad can be mechayev shvuah when there's nothing contradicting the Eid Echad. What about by kiddushin, if there is admission to the words of the Eid Echad? So for the most part, the Shitas held it doesn't work. It's very different than dini mominus, where the Gemara tells us the eidim are simply coming to verify the facts. But by kiddushin, it's more than that. They establish it. They make it happen. They formalize the kiddushin. Anything less than 2 eidim doesn't do the trick. Then we have 3 cases of Abaye, where Eid Echad comes and introduces some information, where the owner concedes, it's considered shtika kaidah, and we treat it as fact. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rabbah.